Joshua, what does a monkey say? Joshua. Joshua, what does a monkey say?
We decided to observe my little brother. He's 4 years old. His name is Joshua. Joshua is energetic, fun-loving, and caring preschooler who has a smile that will melt your heart. He has a laugh that's contagious and loves to be silly. Josh enjoys being around his family and friends and playing outside or showing off his Mario Kart skills. Joshua is a problem solver and does not let his lack of height or language prevent him from getting what he wants. Josh has Fragile X syndrome. Fragile X syndrome is a genetic condition that causes the FMR1 gene to malfunction and not create the protein FMRP, which is imperative to development. Fragile X syndrome is a family of disorders and can impact individuals differently. Our team decided to observe Josh because Fragile X syndrome causes intellectual and developmental delays for him, and we thought it would be interesting to see how his development differs from somebody developing typically.
Since Joshua is my brother, I interviewed my mom at her home in person. We later called her for more supplementary material to fill in some of the blanks that we had, but some examples of questions that we asked were, what are some transitions that Joshua has gone through, and what are some things that Joshua finds important, and what are some things that our family finds important. During the interview, I took notes on what my mom told me and uploaded those notes to Google Document so the rest of my team could see it. For the observation portion of the project, we observed a homework session that Joshua was doing with my mom that is a part of a language study that Josh is a part of, being conducted by Washington University, St. Louis. The study includes medication that Josh takes, but he could also have the placebo, and is paired with a language intensive, which is what the homework session is.
A social learning theory describes how behaviors may be learned through observation and imitation of others in their surrounding environment. In Albert Bandura's Bobo doll experiment, he has two groups of children observe adults either being aggressive with the Bobo doll or playing nicely with it. Once the adults were taken out of the room, the children were left alone to play with the dolls. Bandura found a correlation between those who observed the violent behavior and those who exhibited similar aggressive behaviors. In other words, the children who observed violence showed violence towards the doll, and those who observed adults being nice were nice towards the doll.
I'm building a tall tower. Purple goes up. Blue goes up. Green goes on top. Blue goes on. Purple goes on top.
As you can see from the video, Josh exhibits this behavior as he models the actions of his mom building a tower of blocks. As she begins building her tower, he mimics her behavior and begins building a block tower of his own. This is a social learning theory taking place. According to his mom, Josh is able to learn many skills and see what he is capable of doing by being around his family. By observing those he constantly spends time with, Josh is able to pick up on and model their behaviors and habits.
Hurry up!
Hey, by the way,
Important aspects in a person's ability to communicate with others is verbal language. Learning different vocabulary and sentence structures are involved in several childhood milestones and is a main focus of several therapies and classes provided to children. There are several theories of language acquisition given, and the one that is most likely applicable to Josh's language acquisition is the one provided by Skinner. Known for his research on learning via classical conditioning, Skinner also has some hypotheses on one's ability to communicate verbally. Skinner supported the behaviorist approach, arguing that all behaviors are learned and therefore can be unlearned. He argued that children learn how to pronounce words and form sentences through parental reinforcement. For example, for the first time a child says milk, mom will smile at them and most likely give them milk, and in Josh's case, it seems that this is most likely the means of language acquisition. By the age of 4, those who develop normally are picking up words that explain complicated emotions such as confused, upset, and delighted, words that explain going on in the brain such as I don't know or I don't remember, and different word endings that you can add to the end of words, for example, ER meaning more, so big turning into bigger. Josh is described to currently have a very limited vocabulary, forming sentences of 1 to 3 words, such as "it goes in" or "jump." Currently, Josh has little capacity to describe complex ideas, such as emotions, cognitive capacity, or comparative vocabulary. He has a very limited understanding of verbs, but is still able to apply a few, such as jump, run, hop, and swing. We believe that it's likely that his verbal skills are acquired through Skinner's theory because as he expands his vocabulary and forms different sentence structures, his family members and caregivers respond very positively. Seeing the looks of approval and being rewarded for his communication motivate Josh to continue to grow his understanding, as Skinner would have predicted.
Social emotional development is the ability of a child to express and manage emotions and build positive relationships with others. During the preschool years, children usually engage in parallel play. This is when children play beside each other but do not interact with each other. Socially, by the age of 4 or 5, a child should be able to share toys, follow simple rules, show some awareness between good and bad behavior, and be able to join in and play with other children. Emotionally, at this age, children are experiencing a wide range of emotions, but they may not know how to control or understand them. By participating in pretend play, children are able to control the situation, giving them a feeling of importance. This is normal and plays a big role in their emotional development. Josh does not understand the concept of sharing his toys and is currently at the stage where he parallel plays. However, he is able to play with his siblings. He understands the difference between good and bad behaviors and giggles when he knows he's done something wrong. Since Josh does not play pretend to try to control and let his emotions out, he rocks and demonstrates stimming instead. This occurs when Josh is overwhelmed by his emotions.
Cognitive development is the nature and development of human intelligence and is best explained by Jean Piaget. He outlined the different milestones and patterns of thought that are considered normal for different age groups during cognitive development. The age group that Josh falls under is that of the 2 to 7 years, or according to Piaget, the pre-operational stage of cognitive development. During this stage, those who are developing typically are said to be capable of symbolic thinking and using proper syntax and grammar to express full concepts, while still struggling with abstract thought. Typical cognitive habits at this age are centered around their types of play. For example, they should be showing signs of an imagination. In the previous stage, the sensory motor stage, children are focused on how things look and sound and how they take things in through their 5 senses, which seems closer to where Josh is currently. At age 4, children should be more engaged in pretending and using their imagination, such as dress up, stuffed animal tea parties, using a cardboard box as a race car, etc. When Josh plays, he likes to play with blocks and other common toys, but in a very concrete way, as opposed to personifying his toys and pretending, for example, that his blocks are cars. He's more fixated on the color, shape, and size. He likes to stack blocks of the same characteristics as opposed to building different imaginative things.
According to Bowlby, attachment theory is a long-lasting psychological connection with a meaningful person that causes pleasure and soothes the individual in a time of stress. According to Harlow and Zimmerman, attachment theory is an intrinsic need for an emotional bond. A strong connection with one's mother increases the chance of survival for the offspring. Joshua shows a typical development for the attachment theory. His mother plays a role as a teacher and mentor. Joshua's mother works with him on his speech, modeling techniques, and everyday activities. Bowlby also notes that the formation of a reciprocal relationship starts around 18 months and continues to develop throughout a person's lifetime. The attachment theory also notes that as an individual language develops, separation anxiety declines, as the infant can understand when his mother is leaving and when she may come back. Joshua experiences a typical development for the formation of a reciprocal relationship, as he does not experience separation anxiety when away from his mother. Joshua demonstrates a secure attachment type. He trusts that his mother will be there for him, which means that he is more apt to explore his surroundings.
Marching, marching, marching.
I may not be good and I may not be strong, but I can.
Development is the development of a child's bones, muscles, and the ability to manipulate and adapt to his surroundings. Children around Joshua's age should also be able to hit typical motor development milestones, such as walking down the stairs without help, using a fork and spoon, and being able to stand on 1 foot for 9 seconds. Joshua can hit some of his age milestones, like using a fork and walking up and down the stairs. He cannot do some of his milestone tasks, such as standing on one foot for 9 seconds. Joshua's fine motor skills are also developing according to his age range milestones. He can put on his own clothing and copy certain images when drawing. Joshua experiences an atypical development with proprioception. Joshua has some difficulty with his vestibular processing center. Joshua demonstrates rocking and head tilting because of his unintegrated vestibular processing center.
Baby,